Beloved soul, you have wondered why God placed certain people in your path. You have asked why some hearts feel so familiar, why some souls seem to awaken something ancient within you. I am here to tell you, child of light, nothing about your encounters is random. Every connection that stirs your heart is written in the quiet language of heaven. Before you were born, before you took your first breath in this realm of dust and time, your spirit stood in the presence of the eternal, and there you were shown. The souls you would meet, those who would test your strength, those who would remind you of love, those who would bring your lessons to life. When you crossed paths with them, your soul recognized something your mind could not name. It wasn't their face, or their voice, or the rhythm of their words. It was their energy, their divine frequency, the echo of a promise made before time began. You felt peace and confusion all at once, a strange mix of safety and awakening. That was your spirit whispering, "This one matters." For some, God sends a mirror. They come into your life not to stay forever, but to show you what needs healing. You will feel drawn to them, not because of comfort, but because your soul knows that through them, you will discover the forgotten parts of yourself. They are the reflection of your prayers. Sometimes gentle, sometimes sharp, but always purposeful. Do not fear the intensity. It is the sign that heaven is at work. You see, divine connections are not built on ease. They are carved through surrender. They strip away your false layers until only truth remains. And truth, my dear one, is love. When God matched you with that soul, He saw what both of you carried, your light, your wounds, your hidden fears. He knew that when your paths touched, something sacred would unfold. Maybe it was not to love in the way you expected. Maybe it was to teach you patience, to teach you forgiveness, to teach you how to stay open when it hurts. Some souls come to awaken you, not to accompany you forever. They are like divine messengers wearing human faces. Do not mourn them. Honor them, because even when they walk away, the mark they leave upon your soul is eternal. Each person God sends carries a message wrapped inside their presence. Sometimes it says, "You are loved." Sometimes it says, "You are still healing." Sometimes it says, "It's time to let go." But always it says, "God has not forgotten you." You have not been abandoned in your longing. Every connection is a whisper of divine timing. When you met them, you were not meeting by accident. You were meeting on schedule, a divine schedule you cannot see, but one that never fails. Even the heartbreak had purpose. Even the silence had reason. Even the goodbye had grace in it. You may not see it yet, but you will, in the stillness after the storm, in the peace that slowly replaces the ache, in the wisdom that blooms inside your chest like a quiet sunrise. For now, rest in this truth. You were matched by love itself. Not for punishment, not for confusion, but for transformation. Heaven saw your readiness. Heaven saw your capacity to grow. And heaven said, "Now." That soul entered your life as a doorway back to yourself, back to your divine origin. You may have thought they came to complete you, but truly, they came to reveal you. They came to remind you that your soul has always been whole, and when you finally see that, you begin to understand why God matched you with them. It was never about possession. It was about awakening. You are not losing love. You are returning to it. This is only the beginning. Heaven still has more to reveal. The story is not over yet. Beloved, you must understand, when God weaves two souls together, He does not tie them with chains, He connects them through light. Light cannot be owned. It only illuminates. So when you met them, you were meeting a reflection of the divine light within you. Their presence stirred something ancient, something sacred, the memory of where your spirit came from. Perhaps you felt an instant peace. Perhaps you felt an unexplainable pull. That was heaven confirming that this connection was written beyond time. And yet, so often the human heart mistakes divine alignment for permanent attachment. You thought this person was meant to stay, because their presence felt like home. But sometimes God allows you to taste home only to remind you that it exists within you, not outside you. They were never the source of your peace. They were the mirror reflecting it back. Do you remember the first time you felt seen by them? The way their eyes seemed to understand your silence. That moment was not about them. It was God saying, "See, I know how to send someone who speaks the language of your soul." But you were meant to learn that language too, to speak it to yourself, to speak it to others, to remember the voice of love without needing another to echo it. That is why sometimes He allows the connection to shift. He lets distance teach you what closeness could not. You see, beloved, love is not proven by staying. It is revealed through what remains in your heart even after someone leaves. If you still choose kindness, if you still wish them peace, if you still thank God for what was, then you have understood divine love. It takes great courage to love this way, to release someone without resentment, to honor a connection even when it cannot continue in form. But that is what heaven is teaching you through them, how to love freely, how to give without fear, how to trust that endings are not losses, but transitions in the sacred story. When God matched you with that soul, He saw two spirits carrying unfinished lessons. Perhaps yours was about surrender. Perhaps theirs was about forgiveness. Perhaps both of you needed to be mirrors to reveal what still needed healing, and so the divine plan unfolded, not through ease, but through transformation. Maybe they challenged you. Maybe they misunderstood you. Maybe they loved you deeply, but could not stay. Still, none of it was wasted. Each conversation, each silence, each tear was a part of heaven's choreography. The connection was not broken. It was completed. Because in divine timing, completion does not mean separation. It means fulfillment of purpose. You prayed for growth. You prayed for clarity. You prayed for love that was real. And God answered by sending this soul. He knew that their presence would awaken what was asleep in you. The longing, the truth, the faith, the strength. And now you stand stronger, softer, more awake. This is the mark of a divine encounter. It leaves you changed, not destroyed. And if you are still healing, if the pain feels heavy, know this. Healing is the afterglow of divine love. It means the lesson has been received, but your heart is still adjusting to the light. Do not rush it. Heaven is patient with your becoming. Sit with the memories, but do not live inside them. Let them remind you of what love can awaken, not what you have lost. Because you have lost nothing that was truly yours. What is divine is never taken. It only transforms. Even now, that soul is connected to you in ways beyond understanding. Perhaps they think of you in quiet moments. Perhaps their spirit prays for you without even realizing why. That is how divine bonds work. They echo through eternity. You may no longer walk together, but you walk parallel in spirit. Each growing in your own direction, each fulfilling the promise made before time began. Do not close your heart. Do not harden it because of pain. God is not finished revealing the purpose of this union. There will come a day when you will look back and smile, not from nostalgia, but from understanding. You will see how this person was both a blessing and a catalyst. You will thank them silently, because through them, you found the divine within yourself. For now, rest in knowing this. You were not mistaken for loving them. You were chosen to love through them. That is a holy assignment. And heaven rejoices every time you choose compassion instead of bitterness. Every time you choose faith instead of fear. Every time you open your heart again, even when it has been bruised. This is divine maturity. To love without demanding. To release without hate. To trust that God's matches never fail, even when they fade. Because the match was not for the world to see. It was for heaven to fulfill. And heaven never makes mistakes. Beloved soul, there's a deeper layer to this connection you must now see. The moment God aligned your paths, He was not introducing you to a stranger. He was reuniting you with a familiar light. That familiarity, that instant knowing, was your spirit remembering a promise. a promise made in the presence of divine light. Before either of you entered this earthly realm, you said yes to helping each other grow. You said yes to healing through love. You said yes to walking into each other's storms so that faith could find its wings again. So when you felt an unexplainable pull toward them, it was your soul responding to that ancient yes. You did not fall in love. You remembered love, and remembering is painful because it brings with it the weight of all you forgot. But, beloved, pain is the way light re-enters the heart. It cracks what was rigid, it softens what was guarded. Through this divine match, God was not punishing you. He was preparing you. He saw that both your spirits had reached a point where they could handle sacred fire. The fire that burns away illusion. The fire that reveals truth. That is why this connection felt holy and heavy at once. It carried both comfort and confrontation. It held joy and ache in equal measure. You were being purified through the experience of love. And so were they. Do not assume their silence means they did not feel it. Do not assume their distance means they did not care. Sometimes souls express divine lessons in opposite ways. Where you reach forward, they retreat. Where you speak, they listen in silence. Both actions serve a divine balance. One learns surrender. The other learns courage. That is how heaven teaches through love. Two souls mirroring opposite sides of the same truth until both remember unity. You were never meant to chase. You were meant to witness. Witness what love reveals in you. Witness what rises and what falls. Witness the divine choreography that unfolds without your control, yet never without purpose. You see, beloved, human love says, stay with me. Divine love says, grow with me. And growth sometimes requires distance. When you release someone with grace, you are saying to God, I trust your plan more than my pain. That single act of surrender echoes louder in heaven than 1,000 prayers of longing, because that is when you shift from needing love to becoming love, and that, my dear one, is the highest purpose of your connection. God matched you not to fill your emptiness, but to awaken the fullness you already carry. Through them, you began to see what you are capable of feeling. The depth of your loyalty, the gentleness of your care, the power of your forgiveness. All those qualities you thought were born from loving, them were actually born from within you. They were the spark. You were the flame. Do you see now? The divine plan was never about holding on to the person. It was about rediscovering the divine in yourself. If your heart still aches, if you still miss their presence, it is because part of you is still remembering, still adjusting to the new space that their absence has made. But that space is holy ground. It is where your soul grows into its next form. You may feel lonely, but you are never alone. Even in silence, heaven watches closely. Every tear you have shed has been counted by divine hands. Every sigh, every unanswered question, every whisper into the night, none of it has gone unheard. God is not distant. He is within the lesson. He is inside the ache. He is shaping something sacred through your longing. Perhaps this connection taught you to pray differently, to love without fear, to trust what you cannot explain. If so, then you have already begun to see the divine fruit. There will come a time when this love will no longer hurt. It will simply exist. A memory that glows softly, a chapter that sings quietly in your soul. And on that day, you will realize the purpose was never about them staying. It was about you remembering how to open your heart even when you knew it could break. That, beloved, is divine courage. It is rare. It is holy. And it is the very reason God trusted you with this connection. He knew you would love deeply. He knew you would not turn bitter. He knew that even through the pain, you would search for the lesson and find Him there. For that reason, heaven calls you brave. You were chosen for a sacred kind of love, one that refines instead of comforts, one that frees instead of binds. This story is still unfolding. Heaven is not finished speaking through it. There are more signs ahead, More whispers, more moments of divine recognition. Keep your heart open. You are still being guided by the same light that once led you to them. And that light will lead you to what is meant next. Beloved soul, listen closely. For this part of the truth is subtle yet profound. God does not match souls simply to teach patience, or courage, or forgiveness. He matches them to reveal the depth of your own heart. When you first met them, you were not just meeting another human being. You were meeting a reflection of your divine self. That reflection may have been comforting, or it may have been unsettling, because it showed both your light and your shadow. Every smile you shared, every tear you offered, every silent understanding was an unveiling of what your soul already carried. Some of you may have hoped that this connection would solve your loneliness. Some of you may have believed that it would fix your heart, but the divine truth is different. The person was never meant to fix you. They were meant to awaken you. To awaken your understanding that love is not about receiving. It is about being. Being present, being patient, being forgiving, being aware of the sacred rhythm of life. Do you remember the moments that felt like magic? The ones where your soul recognized theirs without needing words. That was God's whisper in the stillness. That was divine approval of your willingness to open yourself to growth. And when difficulties came, misunderstandings, distance, or heartbreak, that too was divine intervention. For love that is easy is rarely transformative. It is only through challenge that the soul stretches, that faith grows, that the heart awakens to the truth of divine love. Sometimes you may feel that this connection was unfair, that it brought more pain than joy. But pain is a messenger, a quiet teacher, a reminder that something precious is unfolding within you. Even when they left your physical presence, they remained in your soul. Their energy, their lessons, their reflection of your own divinity, all of it remains, indelible and eternal. Every encounter with them was a step closer to seeing yourself clearly. Every longing, every question, every tear was a step closer to the understanding that love exists first in your own heart and then radiates outward. Perhaps you have been asking, why them? Why this connection? Why now? The answer is simple, yet often overlooked. God matches you with souls who are capable of showing you what you are capable of feeling. They are mirrors. They are teachers. They are sacred catalysts. You may never fully comprehend the impact of their presence, but your soul always knows. Your spirit always remembers. This is why it is so important to honor the connection, even if it cannot last in the way your human heart desires. Do not fear the impermanence. Do not mourn the endings too harshly. Every goodbye contains a gift. Every pause contains a blessing. Every silent moment carries divine meaning, even when your human mind cannot see it, even when your heart aches, even when it feels incomplete. The divine orchestration is perfect. Through them, you learn to love differently. To love without expectation. To love without possession. To love as heaven loves, freely, eternally, unconditionally. Every soul God sends is an invitation to awaken. An invitation to see beyond human limitations. An invitation to remember your true nature. Your soul is vast. It cannot be contained by circumstance or presence. It cannot be defined by absence or longing, and yet it is nurtured through connection. It is illuminated through reflection. It is refined through love, even when love is not returned in the ways you hoped. When you embrace this truth, you begin to see the hidden beauty in every encounter, even in the most painful ones. You begin to understand that what feels like loss is actually an awakening, that what feels like heartache is actually a gift of divine refinement, and that what feels like separation is actually preparation for something far greater than your human mind can yet imagine. So, beloved, continue to hold their memory gently. Continue to honor the light they brought to your soul, but also continue to walk your path boldly, trusting that God's matches are never mistakes. Even the ones that fade, even the ones that challenge you, even the ones that leave you questioning your worth, they are part of the sacred design. You were chosen to experience this connection. Not to cling, not to mourn endlessly, but to awaken. And awakening is the greatest gift of all. If this message reached your heart, please like the video and leave a comment telling me who you feel is calling you home right now. Share this with someone you believe needs to hear it. And if you want to support the channel, consider subscribing and tapping the notification bell so you'll never miss the next message meant just for you.